Hello, jewelry lover. My name is Bella Naiman, and I'm the founder of New York City Jewelry Week. Welcome to this virtual program, part of NYCJW 24. The theme for the seventh annual edition is Wander and Wander, and it reflects the multifaceted nature of jewelry as both art and personal expression. Wander captures the awe inspiring craftsmanship behind each piece, the dazzling, delicate, or bold details that turn your head in admiration. Wander invites you to explore the wonderful and wild creative journeys behind the jewelry. It's not just about the finished piece, it's about the adventure it took to get there. Designers experiment, push boundaries, and play with ideas and materials. And this year, New York City Jewelry Week takes participants to see it all unfold. Every necklace, ring, and bracelet is a passport to a new world where innovation reigns and imagination knows no limit. So we hope that these programs will take you on that journey and are your passport as well. Sit back, enjoy, and while these are not live, we welcome your comments. So please don't hesitate to drop us a line, whether it's email or Instagram, or even get in touch with some of the incredible curators, artists, writers that have really worked very hard to bring you this program. So thanks very much. And we also hope to see you out in New York. Bye.
Okay. My name is Elaine Kim. I'm the co-director of the World Jewellery Museum. It's a great pleasure to welcome you to enjoy our museum's collections and stories during our virtual tour. I want to express my deepest gratitude to the organizers of the New York City Jewelry Week, and especially to Bella Naiman for inviting the museum to this remarkable event that celebrates the art of jewelry in New York City and beyond. I have a special guest who will be joining us on our journey as we walk through the permanent exhibition. Paola Stroppiana is an art historian, journalist, and independent curator specializing in contemporary jewelry and art jewelry within a broad historical context on the international scene. She has curated numerous important exhibitions and contributed widely to newspapers, exhibition catalogs, and other publications. And I'm so thrilled she is sharing her insights and knowledge with us today. Hello, Paola. So wonderful to see you.
Hello to everyone. I'm very, very happy to be here from the second year, because last year I have the honor to be interviewed about my studies, because as my great friend Elaine Kim has explained, I'm a scholar of jewelry, in particular about jewelry by artists, and I wrote many publications about this argument. But last year I had the opportunity to talk about my researches, but today I have a great opportunity to bring my personal experience through this interview to Elaine, because I was lucky enough to visit in person by myself the World Jewellery Museum in Seoul, Korea. And was a great opportunity, because I was also with my family, and I could share with my family this experience. And but before it, I would like to talk a little about, and we will ask to Elaine to explain better than me. But there is a very particular museum in the world about jewelry, focused on jewelry, focused on a particular collection that we will discover together. That is a particular collection also because it was raised by an extraordinary woman that is the mother of Elaine, and she was Lee Kang-won, and she is the poet, a person of great culture, personal culture. She was the wife of former diplomat, so she had the opportunity to travel around the world. And when she came back to her country, she found in herself the power of the beauty, and she desired to share with other person. And this is the reason why now we have a museum that this year celebrates 20 years. So, Elaine, I would like that give the words to you, that you could explain how arose the first idea of the museum and the deep meanings of this museum and how many pieces. And in particular, I would like that you could explain that where is located, because I said that it's in Seoul, but also the place that your mother has chosen is fundamental to understand the meaning of this place. So please tell us something more about it.
I mean, first of all, Paola, that was a very generous introduction. And, you know, I have to say, before we really begin, we met through Instagram during the pandemic. And that was one of the rare, bright moments out of that whole experience. And we hit it off immediately, didn't we?
Yes, I have to add, I would like to add just a point that, yes, I interview you in 2021 because you, as deputy director of the museum, gave me the chance to make you an interview that was particularly enlightened to me for understand many things about the museum. And this is a reason why I would like to come to visit you. But you, as a great education about art, I would like to underline that you was born in Brazil and lived in many places, and so also you have heredited this wide open eye to the world. So it's fundamental also underline this point, because you have a great art preparation in Netherlands too, and you publicated many books, and you are a lecturer and you are a professor. So this is the reason why today we have also the great opportunity to listen to you as a director now, and also all your family is involved in this museum. So I have this great opportunity as journalist to make an interview to you, and after that to visit you. And so I was so happy to visit you. That was the first things I said. But our first meeting was online because the COVID, and something could be also good things from bad things. And we have this opportunity. But for me it was an enrichment moment to share with you the opportunity to listen about this museum. That was the first time. So I just know that it exists, but I didn't know the reason why. So let's start with the...
And you know, I still get very emotional when I think about your visit, because you brought your family, and both our families got to meet each other, and you know, the beautiful memories that we created together, they're here. I really cherish them. And I think it's very special that this happened because, like you said, ours is a family museum, and I'm deeply involved with the, with the entire operation. I was fortunate enough to be born into this family, and I grew up with my mother's collection. So I think I do bring a very personal perspective into everything that we do. You know, because when I heard that we'll be taking part in this year's event, and the theme, which is wonder and wonder, I thought, what could be a more perfect theme than for our museum tour? So but just to refresh your memory, Paola, I prepared a short video, which we're playing right now. Do you remember these rooms?
Yes, the 3 rooms.
Yes, and then the masks, right? So we're showing just some parts of the galleries here, and we will talk more in depth as I start to introduce more about the history of the museum and also some parts of our collection. But it feels like you're back here with us, And then
Yes.
we're touring the museum once again, together.
Yes, it's always emotion.
Yeah. So now, before we begin the tour, I would like to provide some background information about the museum and the founding director, Lee Kang-won, which you mentioned very briefly. The location is quite important because
Yes, the location was fundamental to me because I'm a scholar of Middle Ages, and when I discovered that the location of the museum was in the Buchon Anok village, that is about 15th century, it was emotional for me because I say Middle Ages is my scholar research
yes.
found out. And but when you found this, when you find the museum, is a contemporary building.
Yes.
So it's quite a moment that you can immediately have an impact, a deep impact with the museum. And please tell me about the architect who made it.
Yeah. For those of you who haven't visited Korea yet, Bukchon is in downtown Seoul. It's a very historic place. And you can see, this is really where all the tourists come. Like last year, more than, I think, 6.6 million people came to Bukchon. So we have 2 royal palaces here. The 4 national museums are here, commercial art galleries, beautiful boutiques, stylish cafes. So it's a very hot spot for tourists, but also we have the largest cluster of the traditional Korean houses called hanok in this area. So it's a preservation area, and it's where the old meets the new. And it's very picturesque, and there's also a very important reason why Director Lee chose this neighborhood for her museum. In the past, this used to be residential quarters for the noble class and high-ranking officers, and it's her birthplace. So she was born just a few steps away from the Gyeongbok Royal Palace. And after living overseas like 35 years, when her husband retired from the Foreign Service, she felt it was important to go back to her roots. And so that is why she specifically chose this area for the museum. As you mentioned, she wanted from the very beginning to have a modern architecture for her museum because, she's always been interested in this synergy between the past and the present. And also for the building, she wanted the material, the architectural style, and the overall quality to blend with the historical environment. So she chose an award-winning Korean architect, Kim Seung-hwae, and he created this interplay of different materials like copper, stainless steel, wood, glass, and concrete to wrap the building. And as you can see, all the 4 sides of the building have a unique appearance. And this really reflects Lee Kang-won's personality and how she loves to combine, different textures and patterns and styles from all across the world.
So also from outside, you can imagine that there is something magic that will happen inside. So, and in fact, when you enter, there is a particular condition as house. This is the deep meaning of this museum that I love to underline, that is a house. A house of your memories, but it becomes a house for everyone that enter, just not visitors anymore.
Yes, exactly. This whole concept of a home was very important for her. And also she didn't want this new building to disrupt, the historical layers of this neighborhood. And I think, when I have here a picture of the hanok, the Korean traditional house, and I think it does harmonize quite well in terms of the scale, the form, and the color. So the
Yes.
museum is quite cozy. We're about 3,600 square foot, and she wanted to have this intimate space for her collection. So it's as though she brought her living room inside the museum so she can welcome visitors to our house. Some people say the building resembles a jewelry box. What was your impression of the building from the outside? Did it remind you of anything?
Yes, my first impression that was extremely contemporary place, and a very you could put with elegance in any place, because it has as a particular form, its personality, and but it's the perfect also for these particular neighbors. So a very strong personality. Immediately reflects that someone thought about it, have a deep meaning that you have to discover, but there is something magic could happen inside. That from outside you can understand what could happen inside. So you don't know it's about jewelry. It's about I don't know what, but something magic will happen. That is my first impression. That I just had to open the door, and will magic. Sometimes magic will be inside, and
Yeah.
so it's true, because we will see it is a dark place. And the light will little on crazing on, and you could discover the magic inside, but very warm way, in warm way.
A
So
home. Enter your home. Yeah.
but outside it's contemporary, it's smart, it's fresh, it's something that timeless, I think.
I love that word, when you say timeless. I think that's a very accurate word and a lot of people say it's like entering Alibaba's cave. You say the magic word, and then the door opens, and then you enter into this world of wonder. Because it's in Hanok, it's in Bukchon. Because when you visit this area, you'll notice it's like a maze. It's a labyrinth of all these tiny, ancient, narrow streets and alleys. So we felt it was important to bring that concept also inside the museum. So when you're going around inside the museum, it's almost like you're wandering these streets, and then suddenly you come into something unexpected treasure. The concept
also because your mother
Yes.
life was like a maze.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And because we lived in 9 different countries over the years, and for her, she often describes those years as almost like a pilgrim, because every single country that we lived in was very sacred to her. So for here, when we say the labyrinth, we talk about her journey, her physical journey, but also almost like an inner journey of transformation that happened as we traveled all around the world. So she wanted to offer something similar, like a walking meditation, when she created this museum. So when people come, they go on their journey of their own for self-discovery and spiritual growth. And it's a small museum, but people often get lost inside this space. So we always think that's just, very funny. And
there is the
so
very
yeah,
interesting to understand the stories also about.
Yeah, and people often ask, so where does this passion for jewelry come from? Because it's an obsession, right? It's something beyond normal sort of passion. And I remember the first time my mother told me that our great-grandmother had this passion for jewelry, and she believes that this DNA has been passed down through the generations. So my great-grandmother was one of the royal consorts of the last king of the Joseon dynasty. So that was King Gojong. And unfortunately, I mean, for me, I know very little about her except from the memories that my mother has. But she tells me that she had an incredible taste for jewelry, and for her, jewelry was amulets. You know, she always wore jewelry to protect her and her family. And this influence was so important to my mother growing up. So, and here I included an obituary of her when she passed away many years ago. So, yeah, I feel very blessed that this precious DNA has been passed down to me.
This is a very important slide to me, very important images, because it shows maybe one of the first time that the idea of showing off the jewels was in Mrs. Lee mind, because for the first time she showed the collection in her house to the visitors, to all the people who came here. There, and there was many pieces that are as living pieces, not just to put in the boxes or something that you could just put on and then close again, but show as piece of art. And this is maybe from the education you explain so well, that she was grow with the jewelry education too.
Yes.
But she always found in the pieces of jewelry the very sense of beauty and very sense of art. And this must be alive during the normal life of the people. So she found this power of the beauty. And you know that for me it was the most important concept of the reason why the jewelry as not just art, as something little more, because all the people of every country on every century need to wear something that give us beauty, power, protection, and also must live all day of the life. So this is very important, this image, because shows that your mother feel immediately the need to put all the pieces alive in the rooms. So also in the other slides you can find that put all the jewels in between the furniture, between in the houses, and every time she changed the nation, put in new installation the pieces for the visitor, but for herself as first.
You know, this photograph was taken in Ethiopia in 1986. I mean, she had started collecting jewelry way before, but it's in Ethiopia where she really had the intention of building a museum for her collection. So it became all of a sudden a very important mission for her to build her collection. So, and you know, she always had them out in the open. So when guests came, she made sure that they always talked about the jewelry. That was the conversation starter. And she also wanted to show that, you know, jewelry is more than something that's decorative or you know, has economic value. She wanted to show that it's through jewelry we all unite. It doesn't matter what our culture is, what our religion is, what our skin color is, right? We all have this universal need to express ourselves through jewelry and you know, to make ourselves beautiful. And this idea really, that this is the foundation of the World Jewellery Museum, and this is, I think, what makes my mother so special is that, and you can see here in the other photographs as well, she loves to blend things that are very distant, and she brings them together in her own unique way. So, every time we moved to a different country, at times it was very difficult to adjust to new cultures and environment, but she always made sure that our living room always looked the same with her collections. So
I must say that we could find the same harmony in the museum.
Yes.
It's her special touch.
Yes.
The blending all the jewelry all together is not so easy, but it's natural. In World Jewellery Museum is a natural touch that you are not realizing immediately, that all the things are put together and that there is a strong dialogue between them.
Yes.
But it's as an harmonic dialogue.
Yeah.
So she's like an orchestra director, put all together, and with a great sense of music, a sense of rhythm, and we could find always the same touch, changing the place, changing everything, changed, but not her touch. So we could find also in the museum. I must submit it.
You took that word out of my mouth, because I was going to say she creates this visual symphony, right?
Yeah.
And many of the pieces that you see here in the photographs, they are now in the museum exhibition, like the Oman necklace that's hanging on the wall, the African masks, and the pre-Columbian gold figures. These are all now in the permanent exhibition. I get so, because, growing up with her collection, I think without her collection, I may have felt lost, or maybe even just float through life. But this really helped me anchor, because now when I look at these pieces, I remember where she bought it and why she bought it. So, yeah.
Your historical memories for you are like your family.
A family, yeah.
And this through the years, there is a beautiful images also of your father that, as we told before, all your family is involved in this project of life. And we normally used to say that behind the man, very strong man, there is a strong woman. But in this case, behind a strong woman, we find a very, very smart and sensitive man that who was the person that sustain her in her collection, her passion, and right now he worked at in the museum. He's involved soon.
Yes, he's a very important member of our museum staff. I wanted to show this photo because you can see also wearing jewelry is also very important for my mother, not just collecting. It's her way of expressing her personality. And she always says it's self-love, it's self-care. So the one in the middle, that's the recent photo. And she's standing next to one of her favorite pieces in the museum. And you mentioned my father, that's the handsome gentleman on the right. He never tries to steal her thunder, he's always been very supportive of her. And he's a very smart person, because when my mother argues, one can never have too much jewelry, he never disagrees.
That's important.
And he understood early on how important this mission is for her. So, and what's remarkable, he's my father, so
and your sister too.
Yes, so of course I'm biased, but he's 84 years old, and he doesn't know the word retirement. And it was important for him to continue to work after he retired as a diplomat. So in Korea, in order to work professionally as a curator, you need to take the National Curator exam, which is extremely difficult. And what happened was he took the exam the same year as my sister, and they both passed. So, and
great.
Yeah, and he was interviewed for this newspaper because they found out that he was the oldest person ever to pass this exam. So yeah, we're very proud of him. And now
he had a long training.
Yes, yes. Yes. So now he works as an assistant curator at the museum, and
great
Yeah.
person too. So this is an incredible slide about the publication of your
Yes.
mother as a poet, because this is another fundamental aspect we must say about it, because no one are so many publication about poetry translated in other languages. You say to me that in South America she was she's very popular for her poetry, and maybe this is an important aspect also to better understand the meaning of the museum, because the museum is just not about the pieces of art, as the jewels as pieces of art, but jewels as piece of the culture of the people of the place she was as a diplomat. So is an important key to access to the museum, to notice, to underline her role as a poet, as a woman of literature, and the importance she gave in her life also to this aspect of the narrative of the words, so she could understand also the deep meaning of the people he met, the country, not just through the piece of art, but through the culture as languages. She learned the language. You explained to me that she was able to learn dialects, also to feel closer to the people, and she was able to learn quickly. And this is because she was very open to all the cultural aspects. And this is very important to understand the museums too. So there is another images after, maybe about the museum.
Yeah, I mean, she has a gift for languages. She learns foreign languages very easily, but more importantly, she was born to be a storyteller. And she always says, it's not just about the jewelry; it's also the people and their stories that she heard over the years. So many of the books here, she shares her experiences. They're in English and in Spanish, but next year we have a new book coming out in English. Yes, and in this book, she actually reveals many new stories which she hasn't shared before, and also we include many pieces from the collection, and we're showing them for the first time. So yeah, we're very excited about this book. But this storytelling approach, she brings this into the display of the museum. So because when we decided how do we present the collection, do we do it in chronological order or do we do it by country of origin? But because she's a storyteller, she decided let's do something different. So let's organize the collection around the question, like, what is the meaning of jewelry? And when we pose that question, we have so many reasons to wear jewelry. So it's whether it's about love or protection or faith or power. So each room, we have 9 rooms inside the museum, is specifically designed to talk about that theme. And we chose pieces from the collection that are associated with this theme. And each room is very unique. We use different colors and lighting and design to give it a unique character. So
let's start with these beautiful rooms that we could comment together. there is the first room, and this is a magical approach in the jewelry garden. And there is two beautiful wall that we could find some different pieces, from ancient pieces to the contemporary ones. And but I must admit that the amber wall was so magical because
Yeah.
give immediately a sense of protection. And we told before, the jewel could be protect you. And she, as was a young girl, she reminded the piece of her grandmother
Yes.
was an amber. And amber is the symbol, the magical symbol of protection for antonomasia, we say in Italy. And it was the best one. And this is the first approach, and this is a very, very magical one, because there is could be the beginning and the last thing that you see when you go out. So is a farewell and invited you to come back. But
Yes.
there is pieces from every places, from every century, and remind us again the importance of blend all the culture together. So the name of the museum, World Jewellery Museum, is because it's about every continent, every places, and all the people could find a piece of itself inside of this museum. This is a magical things that you could find that, in my
Yes.
opinion.
I have to say though, when you visited last year, we didn't have the garden, and the thing is, because
This wall I remember very well.
Oh, amber wall, yeah. Because the jewelry garden is, each gallery is very related to her experiences. So for the jewelry garden, she only brings them out on special occasions, and and she handpicks the pieces from the collection, and she does this because and she does this very spontaneously. She doesn't plan this ahead. So for her 70th birthday, she chose the theme love. And so every single piece in that display case was something about love. And it's important for us to keep transforming the space, even though it's a permanent exhibition. So the amber, again, it connects her to her grandmother. And because it's full of light and protection, she wants to start the tour with amber for the visitors, sort of like a guiding light. And we have a big collection of amber jewelry, of over 1,000 items in our collection. And this is our bracelet and anklet wall. And it has, as you were mentioning, a variety of pieces from all these different countries and different periods. And I think you can see it in the center, second row from the bottom. That's the Korean artist. That's Yoon Sang-hee. And she's quite interesting because she uses very traditional technique, the Korean lacquer technique, with new technology, CAD. And we introduced her work together with traditional bracelets from Egypt, from Sudan, from Central Asia, from India. And so you get to explore all these rich artistic expressions all in one space. So, and it's a very powerful wall. They're full of amulets. And do you remember this room? Yeah.
This is one of my favorite rooms because the gold and the emeralds. So you know that I really feel close to this room, not only for the historical meanings, but also for the beauty of the pieces.
And you're wearing a very special gold necklace, right?
Like a gold necklace, and I have an emerald too. So it's close to my person. I feel closer to Eldorado and this piece from Colombia. And, I really appreciate it. But as I said before, everyone could find a piece of herself in this museum, so can recognize something that feel close to him or her.
And we call this room El Dorado. I mean, we are referring to that myth, that legend of the lost gold city. But we also want our visitors to give a chance to think about what is the true meaning of this legend, because for many, of us, we think gold is it's material wealth. But for the pre-Columbian people, it had a much more symbolic religious value. So maybe, El Dorado is something that it's a human desire for something that is not attainable, or maybe true wealth is invisible, right? And it's about exploring the unknown. So we
It's
also
also
like,
a way to make a question to you. What is the most important in your life? What's the treasure for you? And so
treasure. Yeah, exactly. Yes.
what's the meaning of treasure for you?
Yes.
This is incredible necklace wall.
What did you say? What did you say when you entered this room?
That I would like to put on everyone. So this is I love necklace. Necklace is my favorite item. So
Yeah.
and I love the big ones. So
Yes.
this is okay to me
This
because
is your room.
it's better to me.
So here we have massive, important necklaces from different parts of the world. And this is one of our visitors' favorite room, because they get to see how, different materials, different styles, different periods, they all transform the human body into this powerful being.
Yes.
And when you're standing in this room, it feels a little overwhelming. So, and when you look at the details, for example, we arrange the men and women's necklaces from different cultures together. So, for example, the ancient symbol of the spiral, that's used in many cultures. So here you can see how it was used in China by the Miao people, and also in North Africa, the Berber people, who associate it with eternity and the life cycle. So
Also in Calder jewelry. So
yes, exactly. Yeah.
it's another timeless argument tip that all people feel important, feel symbolic, important things to express. So what you're saying is very interesting, because you could find also in contemporary jewelry.
Yes. Yeah. So, and then to calm the senses down, right next door is our cross room. So this is a room full of cross pendants and the processional crosses and icons from Ethiopia. We lived 5 years in Ethiopia, and again, this was a very important country for my mother's collection. The Christian Ethiopians, they wear the cross all the time throughout their entire lives. My mother, she's not a Christian, but the beauty of these crosses deeply captivated her. So that's how her collection began. And we have an extensive collection of the Ethiopian cross. Paola, do you remember you were impressed by the color of the walls? The red color, remember? You were saying
the red color was this is a soft, not really. What I say about the color?
You said
What I say?
You said it's so passionate. It's so emotional, and
yes,
yeah.
But yes, because for us, no, because I want to try to remind, but probably I say that for me is I was a scholar for Middle Ages holy jewelry. So to me was remind me immediately what I studied many years about religious holy jewelry, and the passion, the sense of religion, the deep of inside of you. In fact, for us, you remind me that the coral you put on the necklace for the kids in the Middle Ages, and also the raft to put in around the child when you are a very rich status of the child, as with a red dress. not white dress. They're not, because red is protection for the children in particular. And this is the reason why there are many, many paintings by Middle Ages with the coral put on the Holy Child. And so it's perfect, the red color with this cross wall, because it completely matched with the meaning that during the century. So there are many interesting meanings underlined under the rooms that you could read with another key. So what is interesting in this museum, that you could find some different level of lecture. So you are a child, you are a studies, you are family, you are something else. You always found something for you that you could read.
Yes.
Different kind of level of culture. So this is a very, very interesting, because for me, I could read the red color in a way, but some other people could read another way.
Yes.
And these are different points of view, all blend again together.
Yes. And for me, I love hearing their associations and also their memories. You know, because the color red, it's so powerful. And for some people, you know, they immediately associate it with the blood and the sacrifice of Christ. But for others, it's about power, right? So, but it was designed to be an altar, that space. So now we're moving on to the second floor. And for our modern jewelry, we decided to create a special forest. And
yes, this is an incredible room. Incredible, amazing place, because one of the worst things for the exposed jewelry is how to expose them. It's very, very difficult, because jewelry are taught for bodies, and bodies are in movement. And so when you see the jewelry in the museums, you could see just under the glass, and you could not touch, could not see in another way. But you have the great intuition to put in a vertical way too, and to see as a piece another point of view, and also as on in the back. You can see on the back, and there is a new way of perspective that I found very, very interesting and very amusing, because I'm sure that the kids love this room.
They play hide and seek in this room, because, you know, the entire wall, it's covered with mirrors. And so you see your reflection as you're going around. So yes, they have, it's a playing ground for children. But we wanted to create this forest because you know, we like to experiment with unconventional but innovative ways of displaying jewelry. And it's from this installation where we earned our reputation as the jewel of Seoul. So we're very proud of this. Yeah, and it's very enchanting, you know, to be. So
That's
here we
also a very clever way to expose jewelry. That wasn't not easy at all.
No, and so here we mostly show European jewelry from the 20th century, and very close.
Room. There's a wonderful room about masks. And it's clever too to put all together jewelry with masks, because we know that for this country, African countries, they are not just a piece of art, are functional.
No.
So if you have to reflect about it, to think about it, that are a piece of their culture that they use. So you have to read in another way. And it's fundamental to put together to the jewelry.
Yes. I mean, technically they're not masks, but as you say, these are ritual masks that were used, and they have a very important function. It's to celebrate life, or to call their ancestors, or to ask for protection. So you feel the great power coming from these masks. And we decided to use natural light. So there's a window above, and throughout the day, the light changes. So the light and the shadow, they fall on the masks, and they're shifting. So it's almost like the masks are coming to life. And many times visitors stand for a long time in front of the mask. So we call this also our meditation hall.
Yes, the details are fundamental in these museums, I think.
Mm-hmm. And we have another room on the second floor. So we use this mostly for our temporary exhibition. And Paola, you missed the columns.
No, I missed it. I must come back just for
you have
this.
to, yeah, exactly. But we have a beautiful collection of Venetian and Bohemia trade beads in our collection. So instead of displaying them on the usual museum display case, we decided to create these 3 round columns, glass columns, and there's LED lamp inside, and we wrapped hundreds of beads around these columns, so you can really, the details really glow from the light. And we also use the same room for our contemporary jewelry collection, and this is what you saw when you came last year.
Yes.
Yeah, so we juxtapose the contemporary jewelry with the traditional fine jewelry. So we always like to open our visitors' mind to really think about the many different conceptual aspects of jewelry.
There are many little collections inside the big collection, so you can dip on the various theme, and you could find some different point of view in the centuries, but put together. So you offer also the chance to have another kind of reading of the collection. So it's very interesting that you put together also some, not just blend, but put all again together the piece just to read it as a particular theme. So there are many point of view that also for the scholars. So I invite also the scholar from all around the world to see your collection, because there are many perspective and chance to studies again. So this is very interesting. And so the last, the terrace, we can say.
This is our top floor. Yeah, the third floor. So here it's all glass. So you have this panoramic view of Bukchon.
Fantastic.
But we also use this space for our education program, or sometimes for our permanent exhibition. So right now we're showing the ring collection. And once again, with the display, we decided to put them inside the glass panels. And the lights are framed all along, so you can see the rings from all sides. And so
you're surrounded by.
Yes. And in the late afternoon hours, when it becomes dark, because of the reflection, it's almost like you're entering a multi-dimension. The reflection goes on and on and on. So even with our permanent exhibition, we're always trying to think of new ways to present our collection. And we're also very proud of this. We just added a new addition to our permanent exhibition. So, the artist from Canada, and also a very generous Canadian philanthropist, she donated parts of her collection to the museum. So we have a special section of the contemporary Canadian jewelry in the permanent exhibition. We also have a cozy museum shop, and here we also sell a variety of jewelry and craft, and also our exhibition catalogs.
The books. So there is many important books, and I'm lucky enough to have some of this. And this is important because it remains the pieces that of your exhibition, a temporary exhibition, but also about your research and a fundamental piece to remind the story, because 20 years are just a good anniversary for you. It's important to also you present the importance of jewelry in Korea. In Korea, there is a big tradition about the jewelry in an ancient period, but right now, because right now there is a great contemporary school too. So you could be a good point of reference in your country.
Yes, I mean Korea has a very long history of jewelry, of jewelry making, but also I'm very excited about the contemporary artists right now because they are making just remarkable works of art, and they're really showing them around the world. So, like you said, 20 years is a long time in a way, and we've organized over 40 exhibitions during that time. But right now, what's exciting for us is, through digital technology, we're able to rediscover and reimagine our collection in new ways. And this has influenced how we curate and how we do our storytelling. So,
I recognize myself.
yes, there's somebody. Oh, Paola, look at the way you're wearing that necklace
Yes.
with
It was very funny. It was very funny the way you found to try to wear the pieces on, and so I found it amusing.
Because we all know, magic happens when jewelry is on the body, right? And with digital technology, we're able to take the pieces out of the display case and create more interactive connection with the visitor. So there's a QR code on the right. So if you scan that QR code, it links you to our Instagram, and we have two filters there. We have the tiara from Algeria, and also the ear pendants from Mongolia. And every time visitors try this on, especially when they're standing in front of the piece, and suddenly it's on their body, they go crazy, right?
I mean,
and that's the magic of jewelry. So
yes.
we try. So, but of course, it's important to experience jewelry and culture in the flesh, right? So, as much as important digital technology is, we still want people to come and see the real thing, because there's aura in the object.
Right. It's right.
And that's why we added these interactive displays.
Yes, I would like to ask you which are the projects about the museums. So to going on with interactive instrumental way to approach to the more open audience, no?
Yes, and this is something that happened during the pandemic because we had to find other ways of engaging, and we will continue to explore this technology. And also, we are constantly reaching out to the non-traditional museum goers, right? So we are always trying to connect with people who say, I'm not interested in jewelry, or I'm not interested in museums. So again, one way of doing that is through this new technology. So we are starting to digitize our collection in 3D, and also a selection of our 3D scans are available on Sketchfab. So this is the marketplace for 3D objects. So you can purchase them and you can use them. Yeah, and these are interactive models. So when you click, you can drag your mouse around and rotate it in all different views of the objects. So what
is your favorite piece of your mother? And we have some images of the most important piece in the museums with the beads that we could find in Africa, but it came from Venice in massive part of it, because we must remind that glass beads were an important piece of exchange piece as money, and it was so. Also nowadays, we could find in the middle of Africa some very ancient Venetian glass necklace, and the beads. So that's very interesting how the pieces went in the countries, in different countries in the past. So another way to listen to the country stories, the people stories,
Yes.
and learn from the past.
Yeah, and in jewelry, we get to really understand how deep the history is of cross-cultural influences and the trading that took place. I mean, when we talk about African jewelry, we can't do it without talking about the beads from Venice, the Venetian beads as well. So I've selected a few pieces from the collection, and these are the earliest pieces that entered the collection, because people are always asking, so what was the first piece that Director Lee Kang-won bought? And I've paired them with photographs, because I think it's through photographs we get to really see the true beauty of the jewelry, and that it's a complete set. So this one is from Sudan. It's worn by the Dinka people, the beaded corset. And in Africa, every single bead has a very specific message. It's almost like a visual language, how they use beads. So here we see red beads and blue beads. So they indicate that she's between 15 to 25 years old, and she's ready for marriage. And you'll also notice there are cowrie shells on it, and that's to increase fertility and also for protection. So it's very full, this corset. And
always the red, the gable red color.
There are other colors depending on your age group. So the color changes.
But this is so impressive.
She's a young woman. And this photograph, I think many of us know where it's from, because we were in Ethiopia when Angela Fisher was traveling around the continent. And I mean, for us, her books, African Adorned and African Arc, they're treasures. So now this one is the fibula from Morocco. And I think, Paola, you're very familiar with fibula because these were worn in the Roman times, right?
Yes. We used to study at school.
Yes.
As one of the piece of art or piece of jewelry that the normal people use, that high status, but it's very common to find the statues in the museums. We have many fibula. Yes,
and it's amazing that in Morocco they still continue to use this, but they add their local traditions to it, so it becomes a masterpiece. So you'll see in the photograph that she pinned them to her shoulders. So it's almost like a brooch, how she's wearing it. And and we have to talk about the women, because it's the women who continue to preserve and safeguard their ancient traditions.
The culture.
The culture, yes. And oops, I keep pressing the... Yeah. And it's also worn to promote fertility. Oh, now this is one of my favorite pieces, because it reminds me of Princess Leia in the movie Star Wars. But does it remind you of anything? The shape of this headdress?
Yes, it's strange.
Yes. So it's actually meant to resemble a cobra. And the women in Ladakh, they wear this piece, and they braid it with their hair. So it really becomes one. And it's beautifully decorated with turquoise. And because for the Himalayan people, it's a very sacred stone. And it symbolizes water, the sky, and the air. And it's believed to protect them from poison and bad spirits. The Turkmen jewelry is always very spectacular, and yes, and you recognize it immediately because of its distinctive style. It's often decorated with this red stone, the semi-precious stone carnelian.
And very often the heart-shaped.
Yes, yeah. And also the spear. So it's like to protect you from the misfortune and illness. And we have the back ornaments, what you mentioned, the heart-shaped, because our back is always vulnerable. So they try to reinforce that with the back ornaments. And we also have the amulet holders, the earrings, the bracelet. Our visitors nickname that as the Wonder Woman bracelet. So very beautiful examples. And we have an
I'm fond of China's Miao culture.
And yes, yeah. And we have a big collection of Miao jewelry in our collection. And
Beautiful.
I mean, timeless, right? It's
contemporary, incredible contemporary pieces. I could wear immediately.
Yes.
But I know that for Miao are very important meanings too, because I studied the Miao culture, and I know that for them as a very way to express themselves, because they are with the silver, they work on silver for many, many centuries. So it's a very important tradition for them.
Yes, very long history. And for them, they believe silver, I mean, they talk about themselves as coming from the moon. They're moon people, and the silver symbolizes the moon. So they always have it on them. And they have, 50 different kinds of jewelry, of silver jewelry. And they're really masters of this material. So especially on special occasions, they can wear up to 15 kilograms of silver. And yeah, it always just takes my breath away. And I also wanted to show you the earrings that they wear. So this is from the Hainan Island. It's only now the elderly women who wear this. The young people, they don't wear it anymore because it's so heavy. And yeah, but
again, the spiral.
Yes, yes. And they say the heavier it is, the more beautiful the jewelry is. So they're not scared to wear heavy pieces at all. And I mean, we're continuing to talk about the silver, the protective power of silver. So I think also in Italy, you have a long tradition of young children and babies wearing jewelry, right? To keep them protected. So
a little, in the past, the coral, now gold, the little gold necklace.
Mm-hmm. Also in Korea, I think almost every culture has that tradition. But here, it's the Golden Triangle region. So that's Thailand, Myanmar, and Laos. They give this multi-tiered silver neck ring to their children, and they have to wear them all the time. Otherwise, they feel the soul escapes the body. So even when they go to the hospital, when they're admitted to the hospital, they refuse to remove it from the body. That's how important it is to them. And I have to, talk about the Papua New Guinea, because for me personally, this is one of my favorite regions. I mean, how creative can you be with the most organic, natural material?
Organic.
So this is a breastplate, and this is worn by the men, the Mount Hagen men in the highlands, and they often rub it with red earth, red ochre, and because that's associated with wealth and fertility. And I mean, there's a long history and very important reason why they don't wear it every day. It's on very special occasions, but it's a badge of honor and prestige, and very few men get to wear this. And of course, we have to talk about India, because it has a legacy of 5,000 years. And what's so amazing about India is that they have the most ancient form of jewelry, and then they have this incredible, dazzling art pieces of precious stones. And here I included silver jewelry from the rural region of India. So this is from Gujarat. the top necklace, can you imagine that that's made from a single piece of silver wire?
Incredible.
So they twist it and then they roll it around the ring to create that beautiful, beautiful neck ring. So
Incredible.
yeah. And finally, I want to end our tour with again, we come back to my mother because, you know, she wore the hanbok, our national dress, on special occasions, and she always had her hair in a bun, and then she would pin it with the hairpins. These are called pinyo in Korea. And we have a wide range of materials and size and colors. And there, it's very, in the past, it was very strict what you can wear. So for the elite class, they could wear gold, silver, and jade. And this is her personal collection. So yes, and
beautiful. Well,
yes. So,
because you could find it on YouTube many way to deep your knowledge about the museums, and let me say that there are the precious contents because you could see the museum as a virtual tour. But I would like to close our conversation saying that there was an experience very important to me and to my family. Not just because I'm a jewelry scholar or because I'm an art historian or because my family are involved because of my studies, but because you could really feel in the World Jewellery Museums a particular status of mind, a particular sensation of beauty that you said that you know that the people says as Dostoevsky says that the beauty will save the world. It's not so true. We must save the beauty. And what your mother did for the first time in our houses and now in a museums, because it's not for all to raising up a museums. Your mother was strong enough to do it, but what we could do in our lives, we could preserve beauty, preserve culture, and try to find something little more inside of us. But how to do it? Visiting these kind of museums, visiting the World Jewellery Museum, and try to find the power to live our lives that are not easy every day. There are many problems in this world, we must admit it. But if art is not something for people have enough time to do something else, art is fundamental for our souls, for our lives. And so I would like to underline this concept. When you go in this kind of museum that was raised with love, you could find this love, or you could bring some love at your house. When I come back to Italy, I was different from when I come to visit your museum. So I would like to suggest this kind of experience to all the people, and not just the people who love jewelry or love this kind of art, but to all of them, because it's very important to understand that there is something that are timeless, that put all the country together, all the people together. And we must thank to your mother, to your family, to you, that you be strong, believe in this vocation, in this, because you could bring health in some way, and this is a way, and you find a way.
oh,
So
wow.
thank you again, and everyone, please come to visit. And I would like to come back.
Yes, you have to. And I have to mention, you know, I mean, when you visited, we had the incredible fortune to film you touring the museum. So if you want to, for those of you who want to continue to learn more about, Paola's, her insightful observation about the museum, you can go to our YouTube channel, and there's her tour, her museum tour.
Thank you, Mama. They must visit by themselves and find some new point of view. So thank you so much for inviting me and tell us the future plans and what is in your mind now.
I mean, we're always looking for visionary partners to work with. So, for example, through our loan programs, we hope our collections are seen and widely enjoyed around the world. And it's also important for us to grow our audience and to reach a new young audience. So we will continue to digitize the collection. But of course, we're always open to new ideas, and the possibilities are endless to create innovative and stimulating experiences. So thank you, Paola, so much for your insight and offering our audience your in-depth, very special look at the museum. I'm sure, now they really want to come now and to experience it for themselves. Thank you everyone for joining us on our virtual tour. I hope you enjoyed your visit, and we look forward to welcoming you at the World Jewellery Museum.
Thank you.